Hello, welcome back to our class. This is Mrs. Poel. Today's lesson is going to be about how to think creatively. In last week's lesson, we learned how to use our eyes to observe something very carefully and train our hands to draw very accurately using shapes. To be an artist, we need to train three different things. One, we need to train our eyes to observe very carefully. Two, we need to train our hands to be able to accurately draw and make our projects. And third, but not least, it is probably the most important job of an artist, is to train your head and your mind to think creatively and to be able to express your feelings through your work. So with today's lesson, we're going to be using our head, our mind, and our brain the most out of those three. And our title is called Envisioning Kindness. Envision is another way of saying imagining and thinking about the next step of your project and coming up with new ideas. So that is envisioning, and it is one of the most important tasks of an artist. What I would like you to envision for this project is how to brighten up somebody's day using your artwork. Seeing somebody else's creativity through their artwork and also receiving some art as a gift can really brighten your day. For example, I went on a walk on a walking trail the other day with my daughter, and we're just walking, enjoying the sunshine, and then we saw a rock that was not just a regular rock, but it was painted with really colorful patterns on them. And we thought, wow, this is pretty cool. And we looked at it and kept going, and then we found another one. And another one. And it was just so delightful. We liked finding those rocks now. Every time we go on a rock, we try to find those rock painting rocks. And we leave them there for other people to enjoy. But it just really brightens up our day. And that is an example of somebody who envisioned how to brighten up somebody's day. And they made their projects. And people like me and other people using the trail can now enjoy that piece of artwork.
But first, it's art history time.
Hello, Keith Haring.
Well, hello there.
Today's little artist is Keith Haring, and we're going to talk about him a little bit because he is an artist who envisioned brighten up people's day through artwork, which is exactly what we're going to be doing. I have a really neat book about Keith Haring, so for this week's art history time, I decided to read you guys a book about his life. Keith Haring, The Boy Who Just Kept Drawing, by K.A. Haring, illustrated by Robert Newbecker. There was a boy named Keith. When he was little, his father taught him how to draw dogs and fish and funny things. His dad would draw a line. Then Keith would draw one. Soon the whole page would be full. From that time on, Keith never stopped drawing. In elementary school, while taking tests, Keith doodled on the edge of his paper. When he handed in his work, his teacher would ask, "Why did you doodle on this important paper?" Keith didn't answer. He went back to his desk and just kept drawing. Sometimes Keith invited his friends to draw in his backyard clubhouse. Keith made symbols and said each one represented a letter of the alphabet. His friends asked, "Why do you use symbols to write?" Keith drew more symbols. It was his way of answering their question. He encouraged his friends to join him. As a teenager, Keith liked to draw in his bedroom with music playing loud. He would draw on every piece of paper he could find. His mother had to yell over the music, "Why can't you turn down that music and go outside to ride your bike?" But Keith had sold his bike to buy art supplies, so he answered, "Look at the cool drawings I did." And he just kept drawing. When Keith was in high school, he won first prize for his art. A successful couple from town offered to buy his drawing. Keith said, "No thank you. If you enjoy my art, you may hang it on your wall. No charge." Keith's sister was shocked. "Why didn't you take the money?" they asked. Keith shrugged. He just wanted to keep drawing. Keith graduated from high school and went to the big city of Pittsburgh to a school that would teach him about art. There were boys on the streets trying something new, breakdancing. He liked the crazy shapes of their bodies as they turned and flipped on the ground. While the music played loud, Keith started drawing wiggly lines. His teachers asked him, "Why are you drawing pictures that look like scrambled bodies? This is not what we told you to draw." Keith knew how to draw. He just wanted to draw in different ways. And he kept drawing. Keith moved to the huge city of New York when he was 20, so he could draw with other artists. He started to draw all over the city, on walls, on sidewalks, and on paper that he hung on lampposts. His drawings were washed away by the rain or torn down by street cleaners. Other artists asked Keith, "Why do you draw in places where your pictures are erased?" Keith didn't hear them. He was searching for another wall so he could keep drawing. Keith got a job delivering packages and sometimes rode the subway. One day, he saw a panel of black paper on the wall in a station. He rushed outside to buy chalk and came back and began to draw. The white chalk made bright, smooth lines on the black paper. Day after day, Keith filled the empty panels in the subway stations with art. Soon people who rode the subway were looking for the white chalk drawings. No one knew the name of the artist, but his drawings were easy to recognize. People asked him, "Why are you drawing here? What do your pictures mean?" Keith said, "What do you see? You decide what they mean." Where Keith lived, there was trash on the street and people didn't always say hello to each other. One day, he and his friends cleaned up 20 bags of garbage in front of a long wall. Then Keith painted square faces with smiles and body shapes dancing upside down. The neighbors liked the drawings and stopped to say, "Thank you." A policeman came by and lectured Keith. "Why did you do this? I have to give you a ticket because you didn't get permission." Keith paid the fine and just kept drawing. Soon people wanted to see more of Keith's drawings, and he was asked to display his work in an art gallery. Art was hung from floor to ceiling, and between he painted on the walls. Keith invited everyone to come and enjoy his work. All of Keith's artwork sold. The gallery owner asked him, "What are you going to do with all of this money?" Keith said, "I read in the newspaper that there are kids who don't have enough to eat. I didn't have this money yesterday, and I was happy. If I don't have it tomorrow, I'll still be happy. All children need to eat. I'll send the money to them." The gallery owner gasped, "Why?" Keith just smiled and started to draw again. Now people are inviting Keith to draw in famous museums and exhibit in galleries all over the world. He was proud that he had become a successful artist. But wherever he went, Keith insisted he paint murals so everyone could enjoy his work, not just the people who had money to buy it. During a visit to Paris, France, Keith painted on the outside of a children's hospital, 6 stories high. Newspaper reporters came to take pictures and asked, "Why did you paint at the hospital? Do you think it will make the sick children feel better?" Keith didn't have time to answer. He had to finish the painting. When the Statue of Liberty was 100 years old, Keith drew an outline of the famous statue on a huge piece of vinyl fabric. Then he asked 900 kids to help him finish the drawing. Keith told them, "Draw anything, whatever you want. No one can say it's a bad or good drawing. It's yours." When the giant painting was displayed, people were amazed to see what Keith and the kids had made. But the art critics couldn't understand why a famous artist was drawing with kids. But you know Keith, he just kept drawing. Keith painted all over the world. He would draw on anything, anytime, anywhere. Wherever he went and whatever he did, he would not stop. He just kept drawing. Now everyone wanted to know, and together they shouted, "Why do you draw all the time? Why do you give your artwork away? Why do you draw on buildings, on people, on clothing, on furniture, on subway walls, on cars, on skateboards, on walls that belong to no one, and on things to be thrown away? Why do you draw on everything?" He stopped drawing just for a minute and answered, "I draw all the time because there are many spaces to fill. I give my drawings away to help make the world a better place. I draw everywhere because everyone needs art." Then Keith turned back to the street, took a piece of chalk from his pocket, and just kept drawing. Here's a picture of Keith when he was 12 years old. Picture of his family. Here's a picture of Keith Haring as an artist. And here are some examples of artwork that he actually created. These are from his childhood. These are his professional work. And this book was actually written by Keith Haring's younger sister. Art is for everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed this story. Our goal for this week's lesson is to first envision, that means to imagine what you're going to be making and who it's going to be for. Our second goal is to make our project based on our brainstorming. And then third, you're going to gift or install the artwork so that your target audience can enjoy your artwork. Once you have envisioned what you're going to be making, who it's going to be, and why you're making it, then it's time to make your project. You can use whatever art medium you have and would like to work with, and that would best fit the project that you're trying to make for that person. Some examples might be chalk drawings in your driveway so that people walking by can see your beautiful work. You might send a letter to your grandparents. Maybe you can send a card for your friend's birthday who might be missing their birthday because they're at home right now. You can think of anything you want it to be. Just think about how your artwork could brighten up somebody's day. I will also be linking some example projects in the description box. If you would like to borrow some ideas from those, great. But I don't want you to just copy one of my examples. If you're going to use one of my examples as inspiration, make sure that you change it a little bit to make it original, or add things to it, add decorations, or think about different ways to display or gift it to somebody so that you're still envisioning the process and the best way to make your project. When you're finished with your projects, I know that this might be a gift for somebody, but make sure you take a picture and share it with me before giving it away. I hope you enjoyed this week's assignment of envisioning kindness and brightening up somebody's day through your artwork. I'm excited to see what you guys come up with. See you next week.